NASA says cautious Nibiru may cause Earth's pole to shift. Plus more. NASA have announced that the Earth may be about to experience a pole shift, leaving it unable to defend itself against solar radiation for up to 200 years, which would have devastating consequences for humans. Solar storms, when radiation and X-rays are ejected from the Sun towards Earth. The U.S. Space Agency says that if magnetic poles reverse, there would be a huge increase in skin cancer, worldwide electronic communications blackouts, and extreme weather capable of wiping out humans. Climate researchers believe we are heading towards a reversal of the Earth's magnetic field, an event that has happened before and has been attributed to wiping out the Neanderthal men. Bruce Jakowski, Maven principal investigator at the University of Colorado in Boulder, said when the switch does take place, the Earth's magnetic field, which prevents the Sun's dangerous radiation getting through, would be neutralized for almost 200 years. He explained that the detail during a historic announcement about how Mars lost 99% of its atmosphere and its oceans that could have housed early life. Jakowski explains that Mars had been blasted by solar winds, which stripped it of its atmosphere for billions of years since the beginnings of our solar systems. He says when the polar shift happens, the Earth will have no magnetic field for about 200 years. During that time, the Sun's solar blasts are expected to strip away at our atmosphere just as they did on Mars billions of years ago. Thankfully, he added also that 200 years would not be long enough for the Sun to significantly reduce the atmosphere for life to die out on Earth. Michael Meyer, lead scientist for the NASA Mars mission, also added that the Sun had been much more powerful in the early stages of the solar system when Mars had been continuously blasted, and even when the process had taken billions of years and still 1% of its atmosphere remains. However, scientists also admit that 200 years without a magnetic shield to defend Earth against Sun solar storms, which cause the amazing northern lights on Earth as the rays hit the magnetic shield, would have implications for the human race. The magnetic shield is our first line of defense against harmful UV rays, and any thinning of our Earth's atmosphere could increase the risk of skin cancer. Without this magnetic field, or with a significantly reduced one, it could destroy global communications facilities, power supplies, and even lead to fires and rioting on the streets, according to some researchers. There are even doom mongers that have predicted that a swap of the magnetic poles from north to south would shift the continent so fiercely it would trigger mass earthquakes, rapid climate change, extinctions, and global destruction. Geologists have said that the shift event has happened a number of times in Earth's history, with the last one 780,000 years ago during the Stone Age. Alan Thompson, head of geomagnetism in the British Geological Survey, said during previous flips, no worldwide shifting of continents or other planet-wide disasters occurred, as geoscientists can testify to from fossil and other records. Earthquakes aside, there is a scientific belief that as we head towards a reversal, which could be less than 1,000 years away, Earth's magnetic field will dangerously weaken, leaving us at the mercy of solar storms, when radiation and X-rays are ejected from the Sun towards our planet. I'll leave links below for you for this.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Get some coffee and calm down. Matter of fact, I take my coffee very seriously. I really do. Matter of fact, I got this when I was in out east. Yes, I take my coffee seriously, very seriously. Are you seriously serious about your serious coffee? You should be. What? Because that's how important it is in these days. And when you start talking about NASA, when you start talking about FEMA, when you start talking about asteroids, then you start talking about the unthinkable, the unthinkable. But folks, deep impact is going to happen. Matter of fact, you know, we already had information about FEMA camps. FEMA and NASA putting together a drill for the unthinkable, an asteroid deep impact to hit Los Angeles, California. And what do? Well, the possibility has existed, folks, on the pages of Hollywood scripts, but in what may be, folks, a real life case is NASA and FEMA and other government agencies engaged in a planetary protection exercise to consider the potential devastation consequences of a 330-foot asteroid hitting the Earth with a deep impact. You can go to Revelation chapter 8, verse 8. We can read of two deep impacts that are going to hit the Earth somewhere on this planet in the book of Revelation. It's going to happen. Now, the simulation projected the worst case blast wave by an asteroid strike, that it would happen in the year 2020. I want you to keep that in mind. Why in the world are they preparing for a deep impact for the year 2020 unless they know, potentially, could they know of one on the way? Anyway, they say that it would level structures for 30 miles, require a mass evacuation of Los Angeles area, and cause tens of thousands of casualties. In 1998, you might remember the movie Armageddon. It was a very drama-filled movie with even greater fictional threat. In that blockbuster film, a ragtag crew were sent on a mission to drill into the asteroid and to set off a nuclear bomb. Sounds like Vladimir Putin's plan in Russia to avert the global catastrophe. And as the character, Harry Stamper, also known as Bruce Willis, summed up his crewmates, the United States government just asked us to go save the world. Well, don't expect that kind of a response by Hollywood heroics in real life. However, an asteroid that could cause such damage has no significant chance of striking the Earth within the next century. That's according to NASA. Really? I have to go on the record, NASA. Never a straight answer, NASA. Never a straight answer. But NASA, you have told us that there's 1,743 near-Earth objects coming toward the Earth, of which you can give us the name of them, how big they are, and when they're going to go whizzing by my head. Yet none of them you project to hit us. Yet we've had deep impacts. The one over Russia, you didn't tell us about that one. You didn't tell us that was coming. The one over Australia 2 months ago, you didn't tell us about that one. The one that hit Argentina and killed a person, you didn't tell us about that one. All of them, every deep impact that we've had, NASA has never listed it as going to happen. They only list the ones that's going to miss. So how can I believe you, NASA? How can I believe FEMA when you have 850 FEMA camps and you won't tell us they even exist or why they exist? But what you have done is you're preparing for a deep impact. And that's the one true thing you're doing. There will be a deep impact. The Bible has already prophesied it. Matter of fact, if you're in Revelation chapter 8, here's what it says. It's Revelation 8:8. And the second angel sounded, and it, as it were a great mountain, burning with fire, was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. And a third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And a third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter, or poisonous, or filled with radiation from space. Wormwood. Now, wormwood is also mentioned in the book of Amos, chapter 5. No one ever talks about this prophecy. One, they don't even know it's there, and two, if they did, they don't dare breathe it, that it is a part of the same event. It's prophetic. Is it referring to Planet X? Is Planet X bringing about so many asteroids that a deep impact will cause the wormwood? Well, here's what it says in Amos chapter 5. If you read, and it says in the scripture, verse 7, ye who turn judgment to wormwood and leave off righteousness in the earth, seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, and calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. So we're certainly talking about an earthquake and tsunami. Certainly he mentions wormwood, and he says it in the same breath with the 7 stars and Orion. Now, if you read the book of Job, chapter 38, Job talks about Orion and who can loose the bands of Orion. And whenever the astronomers were in Chile in December of last year, they spotted Planet X. It was confirmed by NASA that it was Planet X, the same planet that NASA discovered in 1985. They seen it in the constellation of what? Orion. Has God released the bands? Is that what? Because God told Job, can you do it? Can you release the bands of Orion? Of course Job couldn't. God is saying, but I can. And folks, if he's released it, they're seeing it now in the constellation of Orion, headed in this direction. It will bring judgment and wormwood and earthquakes and tsunamis, as according to the Amos prophecy and the book of Revelation. And, of course, Zechariah chapter 14 tells you that the Lord will return upon the Mount of Olives and split it in half. And the waters will flow from the from the former sea to the hinder sea. In other words, create a massive tsunami right through the land of Israel. So, are you serious? Are you serious? Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. We're going to talk about these prophecies in today's broadcast. NASA, FEMA, and wormwood headed in a collision course with prophecy. I'll be right back with more in just a moment. Are you saved? Jesus is the way.